in front. Talks to Caulfield. Fire. Scores!
You are about to enter Habs After Dark with Recliner Sports.
Welcome, guys. What do we think? Not the best game I've ever seen. I was very, very tempted to just mail it in, much like the players did tonight. But I chose not to. I'm here because you guys probably need somebody to rant at, and I'm going to hear. I'll be the guy to let you do that. I don't know how much we're going to spend really getting in-depth analyzing the game, but we'll talk. I had to bring out some stronger guns tonight. I got peanut butter whiskey, and I got Penelope whiskey. I will do a shot of the peanut butter whiskey if we get to every 20 thumbs up we get. I'll do a shot of peanut butter whiskey. In the meantime, I'll drink good whiskey while we chat. I see there's a few of you in here already. It says that there's 10 people watching right now, but I'll have some of the good whiskey for now. But if we do get to 20 thumbs up tonight, there'll be more than one tonight, Entertap. Don't you worry about that. If you guys, I had to sit through that. You guys are going to have to sit through watching me drink this whiskey tonight. So, yeah. But if you guys want me to do a shot of the peanut butter whiskey, I'll shoot the peanut butter whiskey if we get to 20 thumbs up tonight. So, guys, if you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Hit the thumbs up. If you're watching live, if you're watching in a replay, I don't expect that there's going to be a lot of people watching this one in a replay. Nobody's going to want to relive that game tonight. It was just terrible from beginning to end. We spoke the other night about, winning habits. We always talk about winning habits here, and one of the winning habits is, are you going to show up on on a weekday in the middle of the season, the dog days of summer, the dog days of winter in hockey, are you going to be able to show up on a night in and night out basis? And tonight they just didn't. There's nobody on the team who could, I don't think there's anybody on the team who could possibly say that they were, happy or proud of their performance tonight. There's just from top to bottom, there was no energy, there was no passion. They weren't moving their feet. There was nothing there tonight. Now, I don't know what the explanation for it is. I only have questions. I don't have answers. I really don't know what the answer was for it. Sorry, I got to get rid of some jackass over here on TikTok. That was easy enough. Anyways, yeah, what did you guys think of the game? I'll go through the comments here in a second, but I just thought from beginning to end it was just they just didn't bring it. Again, I'm very hesitant to talk about professional athletes' performance effort level. I think that players don't. I don't think every player ever steps on the ice and doesn't try. But tonight there just was not. The energy wasn't there. It was a tough one. Are you guys not seeing this? Sorry, guys. I'm being told that the live is not working. So I am going to check that out. Check that out. It's live. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Frank? I'm watching myself on my laptop right now. So, Frank, I think there might be something wrong on your end. So, anyways, sorry, guys. Frank came into my TikTok and told me that I wasn't live. So, anyways, I don't know if Frank's being a dick or if he was genuinely having trouble, but anyways, it's working. My apologies, guys, for all that. Go Habs, go. Claude says not a great game. Agreed. You can't win them all. You're right. You can't win them all. Again, I don't think that this was a game that, brings them back to where they were before, Christmas time. I think that this is a game that they just didn't play that well. They had an off night. And again, just like, when they started winning games sort of, mid-December, the thing I kept bringing up was, it's not about winning a game. It's about whether you can carry the momentum from one game to the other. Like, can you do it for 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 games in a row? And so, I'm not going to say that, they're taking steps backwards. I mean, obviously it's a step backwards tonight, but one step backwards isn't the end of the world. It's if you're making 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 steps backwards, that's the problem. So, that's not what I see there tonight. I think tonight's game was not ideal. I don't think the Tampa game was all that great either, even though they were able to pull off the win. It is what it is. They didn't play well tonight, but until they start putting that type of performance on the ice on a regular basis, then I'm not overly concerned about it. But again, tonight was a game that was there for them to win. Like, Detroit did not play well tonight. They weren't a good team. They're not a good team, and that wasn't a good performance by them. But Montreal just wasn't putting anything in their way. So very little emotion, Larry. They look disinterested. I don't disagree with that. I don't know what to attribute it to, but they just, like I said, they weren't moving their feet. There was no, like, when you don't move your feet, you don't have any room, and when you don't have any room, you can't do anything. So it looks like, you're not, you're disinterested. It looks like all of these things, but the reality is, if you don't move your feet and you're not hard on the puck and you're not making clean, crisp passes, the whole thing is going to collapse in on you. Like I said after the second period. It looked like the puck was made out of Jello for the Canadiens, right? There was no clear, I get the puck, I pass it, it was nothing happened easily and clearly. So, welcome Entertap, just a game the Habs have to put behind them, did not have it tonight. It happens. If Monty was a bit sharper, then maybe they could have stolen momentum at some point as well as a point. Yeah, I'm going to have a hard time blaming Monty for that game. I mean, obviously, there were a couple of goals that he let in at the beginning of the game that were a problem, but, he stopped 41 of 45 shots tonight. So, I don't know that he's going to be a guy that I'm going to have much of a problem with after that one tonight. So, yes, it will be hard to pick an A team tonight, and my drink is a double. Like I said, if we get to 20 thumbs up, guys, if we get to 20 thumbs up, then we will do a shot of the peanut butter whiskey, which I don't particularly enjoy, which is why it's kind of a thing. If I'll do it if you get us there. Oops, I just made a screw up over here. I gotta fix that. Sorry, guys. Graphic issues. If Habs lose Saturday, are you worried about their playoff chances or not yet? I'm not worried about their playoff chances either way, Armando. Like, if this team doesn't make the playoffs, it's not the end of the world for me. I think that for me, making the playoffs is not, the sign that this was a good or a bad season for Montreal. I think, they can have a good season if they if they improve on last season, right? If they continue to get better and they play better hockey and the rebuild continues to move down the right path, then this will be a successful season whether they make the playoffs or not. So I'm not worried about the playoff season. If you're making the playoffs. If you're asking me whether I think the odds of them making the playoffs, change if they lose on Saturday, obviously, every game you lose, your odds of making the playoffs will go down. So, we'll see. Like I said, I'm not worried about this team if, until they start to play games like this, 3, 4, 5 games in a row, I don't think it's much, much to be concerned about. But, again, this team is going to have steps backward. I mean, if everybody thought that they were going to win 8 out of 10 games between now and the end of the year, Monty, 47th save percentage, 54th goals against. Okay. Well, again, Jordan. I mean, those numbers are great, but those numbers don't really mean a whole hell of a lot, right? Those are not the numbers that matter to me. Montembeau's been good this year. He's certainly been good for the last month and a half. I don't get why you are so in a rush to try and ruin what is a really good thing for Montreal. Like, there's I know that you're normally a pretty what's the right word? You're a bright guy when it comes to Montreal Canadiens, and your commentary is usually pretty good. But on this topic, I can't possibly disagree with you more, and I don't understand why, when the team is playing the best hockey they've played in probably 5 years, why it is that people think that it's time to make a change. Like, why are you putting your emotional reaction to this team ahead of what's good for the team? Montembeault and Dobesh are doing great. So why, and they're doing great in their current, sharing of time, right? They're playing the best hockey we've seen in a long time, but for some reason there's a category of Canadiens fans that want to change that, right? It's the same category of fans that were screaming and yelling about Lane Hutson getting on the first power play unit, through the first 25 games of the season. Not understanding that the Canadiens power play unit was, where the Canadiens power play was playing its best that it had in probably 10 years because Lane Hutson was on the second power play unit, right? Because they had two valuable power play units, two power play units that were dangerous and could go out there on any given night. But yet everybody was putting their emotional response of wanting Lane Hutson to be on that first line ahead of what was good for the team, right? And so it's the same thing that's happening here. People who are calling for Dobesh to take over from Montembeault and to play, equal amount of or more games than Montembeault. Like, again, I don't know what is it that you're trying to fix. I don't get what we're trying to fix. It's working. The team's playing really, really well. But yet, for some reason, because you have a new shiny toy, you want to see that new shiny toy on the ice as much as you possibly can. And I mean, you're certainly entitled to your opinion on it. I don't get that. I don't get the Canadiens fan who puts their own emotional, desire to see their their new shiny toy more than they want to see the team, play well and continue to prosper. Special teams was the biggest difference. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of differences tonight. I don't think either team was very good tonight. Detroit is not a very good team. That should have been an easy win for Montreal, which is just another demonstration of how badly they actually played. Well, Jordan, he saved 41 of 45 shots. So all indications to me are that they hung him out to dry a little bit. Right? Did he look bad on a couple goals in the early in the game? Yeah, absolutely. But, was that the difference in this game? Like, did they lose the game because Sam Montembeault let in a couple goals? I mean, realistically, against that team, they should have had 6 or 7 goals tonight. Right? And and defensively, they allowed 45 shots. Sam Montembeault wasn't the problem tonight. Right? You're in love with save percentage. What was Montembeault's save percentage tonight? What's 45 divided by 40? What's 41 divided by 45? So again, Montembeault wasn't the problem tonight. Yes, he could have made a save or two early in the game, but again, that wasn't the reason why they lost. So, all right, let's go to the scoreboard, guys. The scoreboard tonight is ugly. It's actually not as ugly as last night's game, to be quite honest with you, but it is what it is. So 4-2 for Detroit. We have goals in the first period by Jonathan Berggren. Again, a really, really, lackluster play all around for the Montreal Canadiens on this one, right? Slavkovsky gives up the puck in his own zone pretty nonchalantly. Larkin gets the puck. He carries it all the way through the neutral zone. There's no opposition whatsoever. Suzuki and Slavkovsky are just kind of waving their sticks at him as he goes through the neutral zone. He enters the zone. He dumps the puck in deep. Then he races all of the defenders and gets to the puck in the corner before anybody else gets there. He then battles with Lane Hudson in the corner, wins that battle, gets the puck, and he passes the puck to Berggren, who is standing in the right-hand circle, and there's 3 Montreal Canadiens players just standing there watching him. Caulfield, Slavkovsky, and Matheson. They're just standing there watching him. And he just, he shoots the puck and he beats Montembeault. A terrible performance, from every single player on the ice, right? That's your best line. Slavkovsky, Caulfield, Suzuki, that's your number one line. That's your best defensive line. That's your, that's the best you have to offer. And they just were terrible on that first goal. The very end of the period, 3 seconds left, right at the end of a power play, or just after a power play, it ended. DeBrincat scores from Raymond and Seider. They're moving the puck around on the power play. Raymond takes a shot, misses the net. The rebound goes all the way around to Seider at the point. Seider passes it to Raymond. Raymond cuts to the net. The defense, collapses in on Raymond, and he just kind of makes a little cross-ice pass to DeBrincat, who beats Montembeault. Montembeault looked bad on that play. He was completely fooled. He was going in the wrong direction. He didn't look good on that play at all. But again, I don't think there was any real help. Wasn't really any help for him on that play either. Second period, the Detroit Red Wings continue to pour it on. When it rains, it pours. The Canadiens are on a power play. Lane Hudson has the puck. He steps in to try and take a shot. The shot's blocked by Larkin. Bounces off Larkin to Kopp. Kopp goes in all alone on a breakaway. And again, in a perfect world, does Montembeault make a nice save there? Yeah, he probably does in a lot of games, but not tonight. It's 3-0. Kirby Dach scores a goal to make it look like the Canadiens might have a chance of getting back in the game at 5:29 of the second period. Again, it's right at the end of a power play, just after a power play ended. There's a bit of a scramble around the Detroit net. Dach gets the puck. He tries to go around the net and do a wraparound. It originally looked like Dvorak might have, slapped it in off of Dach's stick, but they ended up giving the goal to Dach. 5:29. You think the Canadiens might have a little bit of life. They might, make something out of that goal, but they really don't. About 2 minutes later, Detroit comes back to make it 4-1. They're on the power play. Larkin gets the puck in the right-hand circle. Mike Matheson tries that slide play where you try and take away the cross-ice pass, but he kind of does it too far away from the goal. He does it too far out, and Larkin just kind of walks around him, goes in all alone, and he takes a shot on Montembeault. Montembeault saves it and does nothing, to try and corral the rebound, and Larkin just kind of chips it under his glove, sort of on the side of the net there. At that point, it is 4-1. The Canadiens do make it 4-2 at 11:06 of the second period. Line A, nice zone entry by Line A. He passes to Gouli at the point, and Gouli just kind of fires a hope and a prayer kind of shot at the net, and Dach is doing a really good job of screening Cam Talbot, and the puck goes into the net. 4-2. That's all she wrote. No scoring in the third period. The Canadiens just couldn't get anything going. It is what it is. So that's all she wrote. So, I don't know if you want to talk about that too much. I didn't want to spend too much time about it. We did kind of lose by the goals he let in. Asking the team for 4 tonight was the nail in the coffin. Well, again, Jordan, if you think that a goalie allowing 4 goals on 45 shots is the problem in a game, then again, typically you have pretty good takes and pretty good analysis, but on that one, I think you're a little bit out to lunch on that one. Again, if you don't think that the Canadiens, could have scored 4 goals against that team tonight, or you don't think that there's a bigger problem that they allowed 45 shots and 17 high-danger scoring chances, and they had expected goals of 5 against that team tonight. So technically, Montembeault's numbers are he saved more. He saved above expected, right? Expected goals were 4.6. He allowed 4. So he saved above expected tonight against that team. So again, I think you're completely wrong on that one. I love you, and you're more than welcome. And typically, we have great conversations here, but I'm not going to agree with you on this one. You've got to hate on for Montembeault. Again, I didn't hear too much from you after the game on Tuesday night about Montembeault. But again, sometimes people develop a bias against the player and are looking for anything to jump on them about. But frankly, he wasn't the problem tonight. Slav looked lost. I think a lot of players looked lost tonight, Asim, quite frankly. I mean, that first line did not look good tonight. That was probably that line's worst game since October. Suzuki looked completely lost out there. He didn't look like didn't look like himself. Caulfield, obviously Caulfield, got a couple of scoring chances. Caulfield was probably the best of the three, but he didn't look great either. I don't think anybody looked that great tonight. And again, it's like if two of your three line mates aren't playing that well and not moving their feet, it's going to affect your ability too. So I mean, the entire team was not firing on all cylinders tonight. So. Hey, Bear, you know nothing about hockey. Go look at the stats, Bear. Instead of talking out of your ass, go look at the stats. Anyways, I'm pissed off tonight, guys. I apologize if I'm being short. That was not fun to watch. And I get frustrated sometimes because, as fans, we're always looking for excuses, and when a team loses like that, we try and find a reason for it, even though the reason might just be the obvious thing, right? They just had a bad night, they didn't show up. So it is what it is. Yeah, there's a lot of minuses on there, right? So Hudson was -5 against Toronto. He was -1 against the Rangers. I'm not sure. I think he was a +1 against Tampa last night. He was a -2 tonight. But prior to that, he hadn't had a negative ± in a single game since December the 20th. I think it was 11 consecutive games where he was in the positive as far as ± goes. So I think we might be seeing a little bit of fatigue with him, right? He's getting into that zone now where he's playing more games than he ever has in his career. Like I think typically in the NCAA you're playing 40-ish, games a year, including playoffs. So he's getting at the point now where he's in unknown territory, and I think for the first time tonight, it looked like he was struggling. Like even in the Toronto game, I didn't necessarily think he looked like he was struggling that badly. But tonight he definitely looked like he was having a bit of a hard time out there. So I don't know whether, like I said, same as the team, right? Like I'm not going to be concerned about it until you start seeing it for 3 or 4 games in a row. But it is what it is. Asim, they had 4 power plays tonight. We'll go ahead and push buttons tonight, Jordan. But if your intention is to push buttons, that is precisely what this show is not about, right? If your intention is to come onto the show and push buttons and make arguments that you don't legitimately believe and try to create conversation out of nothing and create controversy out of nothing, you're not going to last very long here, because I got a lot of buttons to push, but frankly I can push right back really, really easily. And I do this stuff because I specifically want to avoid people who are on the internet with the intention of pushing buttons. So you can push buttons, but there's one button I can push that's bigger than any button you have. So if you want to come in and push buttons, if that's your intention, whether it's Jordan or anybody else, I've got a big fuck you button that I can press that's bigger than any button you have. So again, if you want to poke the bear, but don't fucking get upset when the bear pokes back. So that's all I'll tell you. That's all I'll tell you. All right, gang, here's the A-team for tonight. It was not easy to make the A-team. So there it is, guys. Again, not going to pretend that there were any. I mean, I think Kirby Dach was probably an obvious choice as a pick on this A team, but I don't think that there's anybody on the team that would have, is in the dressing room right now thinking to themselves that they had a great game and that they, were proud of the way they played. Again, even Kirby Dach, despite the fact that he probably was the one bright light in that game, probably is not. Obviously he's not. Nobody's in there thinking positively after tonight's game. So, I thought Gooley was okay tonight. Obviously he scored the goal. That's not the reason I put him on there. I thought defensively, I know for expected goals, for percentage, he and Carrier were, I think, the only two on the team, along with Doc, who were above 50% in that category. So I have both of them on the A team. And again, for me, Sam Montembeault, again, he allowed a couple of bad goals early on, but anytime that game tonight could have easily, without Sam Montembeault, been an 8-2 game, right? 13 saves in the third period, 16 saves in the second period, something like that. Like, he had a in a game where nobody really played that well. He was one of the better ones. So the Blue Jackets did lose. The Blue Jackets jumped out to a lead on Carolina, but then got pumped, and the Sens got pumped as well. So again, I'm sure that people are going to have varying opinions about the A team tonight. If you're inclined, go ahead. Let me know what you think. Let me know who you would have had on there, who you wouldn't have on there. I don't know that there's anybody that really would desperately deserve to be on there, but maybe they're just a little bit tired and overplayed right now. That's why I think they wouldn't be ready for the playoffs just yet. Maybe they're tired. I mean, again, they would have had reason to be tired in other games prior to this one, and they didn't really show any fatigue. In the back-to-back games, or when they were on the road trip, traveling all over the country back and forth, and they didn't really fatigue didn't seem to be a big issue for them. So I don't know that it was the issue tonight. Again, I mean, it looked like it could have been the issue. And if it was the issue, then, I don't understand what it is that would have, got them fatigued. As far as the playoffs go, the playoffs aren't even a relevant thing to the Canadiens right now. Like, if the Canadiens make the playoffs this year, it's like, it's just a bonus. It's gravy, right? It's the cherry on top of the ice cream. It's not like, it's not, yes, it would be great for them to make the playoffs and to get some experience and to see, get the feeling for what the playoffs are like. Just like, playing, meaningful games with playoff implications between now and the end of the year, if they can stay in the race, will be great experience for them. But again, success in the playoffs this year is not in the cards. Like, obviously anything can happen once you make the playoffs, but this is not a team that's, anything they do this year beyond improving from last year is pure gravy. Like, it's all extra. It's the cheese curds on the poutine. It's like extra. It's not really the goal. It's not really the expectation. It's not, it is what it is. And rebuilds are organic, and so I don't think that the Canadiens have ever tanked per se during this rebuild, and I also don't think that they should push to make the playoffs or push to not make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, great. They'll go and see how it goes, and at the end of the day, they'll get some experience from that. But again, making the playoffs is not. Like, it's not the be all and end all of this team, right? The reality is all they're looking for right now is to be better than they were last year and to continue improving. So tonight was not a step in that direction, unfortunately. All right, gang. It's pretty quiet in here. We only have we got 12 people watching. We've got 6 thumbs up. I get I'm a little salty tonight, so maybe you're not enjoying yourselves as much. But if you do enjoy the content, please give us a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Hit the notification bell. Yeah, it's just fun to watch great hockey from Montreal. It's just fun to watch great hockey. Period. Asim, right? I've enjoyed the rebuild. Even when they were losing, I've enjoyed it because I can see, I follow close enough to know what the plan is, right? I listen to Kent Hughes. I listen to Jeff Gordon. I listen to the coaching staff. I watch the interviews after the game. I listen to the players talk. So I know what the plan is. So for me, it's fun to watch that plan be put into action. And there's also fun stuff to do, like watching Ivan Demidov play in Russia, and last year to watch Lane Hudson play in Boston University, and to watch Michael Hage and Jacob Fowler play this year. Even to watch some Swedish hockey, to watch Koivu and Kapanen and guys like that who are playing over there. So today was a rough day. The Demidov game was not that fun and exciting to watch. And of course, the game we just watched was not necessarily especially fun to watch either. So, guys, if we get to 20 likes, we're going to do a shot of the Screwball peanut butter whiskey. If you can get us there, there's 9 of you in the room right now. There's 9 of you watching, so maybe we can't get there. I don't know. Gooley and Doc are good choices. Maybe Newhook could have made it, but not much to choose from. Yeah, I think Newhook probably could have been in there. Again, are you on the Montembeault had a bad game train, Intertap? What's your take on that? I did get it, Billy D in Nova Scotia. It's not really much to be intrigued about. It's more of a novelty than anything else. It's actually not really that good. I mean, I don't know. Like, is it good? Could you make a cocktail with it in it that tasted like peanut butter and jelly or something? Maybe. Yeah, perhaps. Or do shots of this with something else, and Chambord or something like that would be kind of interesting together. But it's really not that good. When I used to do TikTok lives, I used to do a shot if we got to a certain number of likes. If you're over on TikTok, guys, follow the instructions on the screen behind me and come on over and join the show on YouTube. The show is Habs After Dark on YouTube. The channel is Recliner Sports. Open up your YouTube app and come on over and join the conversation. We've got 10 people in the comments right now watching the show. If you come on over from TikTok, you can ask all your questions and we'll have a conversation over here. So if you want to do that, come on over. If you don't, you can stay over there and you can listen. But we're not gonna participate with TikTok. We're just the reason I have TikTok open is just to let you guys know that we're live and to give you an opportunity to join over with us here. So that's the story about TikTok. So again, guys, things are going really, really quickly here because there's not a lot of comments. So we'll get to the Winning Habits report card tonight, and it's X's all across the board. I was vicious tonight. It was easy to put a lot of X's on the board. They did not score 3 goals. They allowed more than 3 goals. The special teams were not good. They did not score any power play goals, and they allowed a power play goal. They committed a number of actions that helped the other team. There were numerous turnovers. There were numerous problems with, them not, doing their job in the defensive zone and the neutral zone that allowed Detroit, scoring opportunities. There was no pushback whatsoever. Weathering the storm, they didn't weather the storm. The storm continued all game. They never really, came out of the storm. Dealing with adversity, again, there was no real dealing with adversity. The entire game was adversity. So, I don't think they could, count that they did anything real positive in that category either. There was very little FU factor. I thought that Detroit was manhandling them physically throughout most of the game, in particular Lane Hudson, and nobody seemed to want to step up for him or any of the other teammates or for themselves tonight. Everybody just kind of was like, okay, whatever. And I find that's one thing that Detroit actually does well. They do have the ability to use their size to dominate the other team. And there's no reason why Montreal should allow that to happen. They have the horses to fight back against that, right? They have the guys who can punish. Moritz Seider's out there punishing guys. Lucas Raymond's out there punishing guys. Dylan Larkin's out there punishing guys. And meanwhile, some of the Canadiens' bigger guys just were invisible tonight, right? Jack Guy really wasn't being that physical tonight. I didn't see much physicality from Josh Anderson. I didn't see, any physicality from anybody, really. So, and again, 60 minutes, they just didn't, they didn't bring it in my mind tonight at all. So, yeah, it is what it is. I don't think you can blame Monty per se. However, if he were sharper early on in the game, I do believe it could have motivated the Habs to wake up. Speculation, of course. That's always possible. And I think it's a good point because a lot of times we always think that the numbers at the end of the game are the most relevant thing, but sometimes it's the numbers during the game that are more important, if that makes sense. Right? Like, so, you're right. If he made a couple big saves, maybe that would have, motivated them to be in the game. I don't think that would have tonight, frankly, based on what I saw from them. They did have opportunities to get back in the game. Certainly, the Kirby Dach goal could have given them some momentum. It didn't. But again, I think you make a really good point because it's not just about the numbers at the end of the games. Penalties that's a significant thing when you think about penalties, right? At the end of the game, if you have 6 penalties against each team, you feel like it was pretty fair. But if 4 of those penalties against one team all happened in the first period, and the other team had none, and they got out to a 3-0 lead on those 4 power plays, or got a ton of momentum from those 4 power plays, then just because they ended up evening out by the end of the game, sometimes the momentum created by those power plays early on in a game, can certainly affect the rest of the game. And certainly, you're right. Perhaps Montembeault makes a big save here and there, and it changes the course of the game. But again, tonight, if you're asking me, I really don't see what would have, maybe he could have stood on his head and made 45 of 45 saves tonight, and they would have won 2-1 or 2-0. But again, I didn't see it. Montreal needs to stop taking dumb penalties. Again, I don't know that any of the penalties tonight were dumb. Like, which one was dumb? Again, I have a big issue. So Kirby Dach's slashing penalty on Rasmussen in the first period. Nick Suzuki tripping on Lucas Raymond. I'm having a hard time remembering the Kirby Dach slashing penalty on Rasmussen in the first period. But the Nick Suzuki penalty, I mean, he falls down. He gets knocked down. He falls down. And in the course of falling down, his skate makes contact with the opposing player's skate, and the opposing player goes down. Like, I don't know what Nick Suzuki could do to be more disciplined on that play. Right, the Lane Hudson interference penalty, yeah, okay, maybe a bad penalty there, but the Slavkovsky high sticking at the end of the game, like that's just a pure accident. Like I have a hard time attributing a lack of discipline to some of those penalties. Like the way the penalties are being called in this league right now, 75% of the penalties that are getting called are purely coincidental. Like they're purely, happenstance. Like, a guy stepped on your stick and he fell down, that's tripping. Oh, you stuck your stick out and it touched the other guy's gloves. Oh, that's slashing. You took your hand off your stick and you put it on the opposing player's hip while he was in the corner. Oh, that's holding. I just like these automatic penalties that they're calling in the league right now. I find have gotten to the point now where there's very little intent required in order for a penalty to happen. Oh, that's right. I do remember that now, Intertap. Yeah, he broke Rasmussen's stick because Rasmussen's stick is made out of, fine china. So you know what I mean? Like that's a good example, right? 9 times out of 10, that's what you're taught to do. You're taught to tie up a guy's stick. So you put your stick over top of his stick, and then it shatters like it's made out of, peanut brittle. So it's, it's hard to blame, the players for a lack of discipline on a lot of these types of penalties and the way they're being called right now. I think improved tremendously this year compared to last year so far. Absolutely, Frank. I mean, the numbers are pretty hard to deny. I wonder if I did this graphic today. I don't know if it's on this computer. It's certainly on this computer. And maybe I can send it over. Da, ba, 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 ba. Let's see if I can do this. So I'm going to go here first. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to publish that. So you're going to see me on this. And then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go there. And I don't see... It is there. Okay, so I can go... photos. Sorry guys, bear with me. So we want to do a comparison from last year to this year. Of course, this is prior to tonight's game. What's up, Pete? What's up, Mark? Am I saying that right? Mark Yeep? Mark Yep? Habs are a fun team. They are. Yep. What's up, Pete? Thank you for coming, guys. This computer is really, really slow. But it'll get there. There we go. Okay, that needs to be shrunken down. Still more shrunken down. All right, guys, let's have a look at this. So there's the numbers from this year compared to the last 3 seasons. Franco, welcome back. Yet you can use an opposing goaltender stick and take the stick of an opponent and use it as a goalie stick and no penalty, or sit on the puck for 30 seconds and that's okay. Well, I don't think that the situation of the sitting on the puck for, it wasn't 30 seconds, I know you're exaggerating, but I don't think that's necessarily a penalty. I don't think that needs to be a penalty. But you're right, like there's just a lot of blatant penalty calls that don't get called in the NHL right now. And yet they're calling these really, really soft ones, pretty regularly. So there's the difference, guys. I don't know if you guys really give a shit about those numbers right now, but compared to last year, right? There are 553 points percentage this year versus 479 last year. But to me, the biggest number is the goal differential. Right, their goal differential is minus 12. It'll be minus 14 after tonight. Whereas it was minus 39 last year, right? And it was minus 46 the year before that and minus 58 the year before that. So that's a huge, huge improvement. So this is just a graphic I made earlier today. I don't know if it interests you guys or not, but I thought I would show. Run with Kings, welcome. Coach's show must have just ended, did it? Everyone's coming on over here now. If Coach's show is over, give us thumbs up, guys. If we get to 20 thumbs up, 20 likes, we'll do a shot of the peanut butter whiskey. Was there a timeout called tonight? I don't believe there was a timeout called tonight. But welcome, Run with Kings. Hold the paint. Yes, the paint is on hold for a little while longer. It's not just the refs, Pete. It's the entire league and the way the league has created their rules and the way the league wants the rules called. But the refs are also terrible. The refs don't really have much of a sense of how to officiate a game properly. But they're also not being given the right tools either. So, one thing about Monty being here for 3 seasons with nearly identical stats, it makes graphics like this easy to see how the defense and forwards have improved. Not quite sure what you're getting at there, Jordan. The entire team has improved. That's what the whole rebuild is about, right? They're rebuilding with young players who are, immature, getting better. They're learning, their skills are improving, and their ability to win games in the mental side of the game is improving as well. there is an exciting buzz this year, Franco. And when the Canadiens are buzzing, it's always an exciting time. And as springtime starts to roll around, for any of you who've actually lived in Montreal, I'm sure there's some of you on here that have. There's no better place in the world to be in the springtime than Montreal when the Canadiens are in contention. It is a really, really fun place to be. Merci beaucoup, Marc-Antoine. C'est un tableau qui démontre le progrès du rebuild. Ça compare les statistiques de l'équipe de cette année contre les statistiques des années passées, les 3 années passées. Alors, merci. Je pense que tu es nouveau aussi. Tu es nouveau ici. Si vous voulez être... if you want to subscribe, Marc-Antoine, hit the subscribe button. On parle en anglais, en français ici. Si vous avez des questions en français, vous pouvez me les poser en français. Je vais faire mon mieux de répondre en français. Il va y avoir quelques mots que je dois parler en anglais, mais la plupart, je serai capable de répondre en français. What happened to the Habs power play? Yeah, it's not doing that well, and one of the reasons I think it's not doing that well is that they don't have 2 viable power play units anymore like they did at the beginning of the season. I think they're focused too much on trying to get the puck to Patrick Laine, which is obviously not a bad strategy, but I think they need to have they need to develop some other options and some other weapons on their power play. They need to get more production from the bumper position, and there just needs to be more. I think St. Louis should have called one after the 3rd or 4th goal. For what purpose, Asim? I mean, there was nothing there. There was nothing. I mean, there was nothing there tonight. What do you mean? What am I getting at? This is an excellent graphic to show the forwards and defense improving from the changes when the other statistic goalies is consistent. Okay, I don't understand why it's relevant that I don't know how Montembeault is relevant to this graphic. Montembeault has improved. The goaltending is different. Like I don't. Again, I'm not sure what you're trying to do. I do, Pete. This was just one of those games. Unfortunately, the key is consistent, solid hockey, and they're on the way. Not there yet, but on the way. Like, it would be a crapshoot to judge the team off goal differential with many different goalies. No, it wouldn't, Jordan. Goalies are not the primary driver of your goal differential. Your defense is. Right? So if your team goes from minus 58 to minus 46 to minus 39 to minus 12, it means that they're getting better defensively. Am I going to say that goaltenders have no role in that? No, I think you're probably right. They do play a role in that. But again, it's not a goal. It's not a goaltending stat. It's a team stat. So, if you went from Carey Price to Caden Primo, it probably would be more significant. But at the end of the day, those statistics are relevant regardless of who your goaltenders have been. Bonsoir, André. Comment ça va? All right, Jordan. If you want to go sook, you go sook, man. Like if you want to hate Sam Montembeault, you do you, man. You know what you're doing. You're pushing buttons, and I'm letting you push buttons, but I'm not going to let you push them too much more. The goaltenders and who the goaltenders have been on this team are completely irrelevant to this graphic. Like, not relevant in one possible way, right? The fact that your team has gone from minus 58 to minus 12 is not because of the goalies. It has nothing to do with the goalies. Right, and regardless of whether they had Carey Price in net or whether they had Sam Montembeault in net or if they had 10 different goalies in net, it wouldn't make a difference. In fact, I think that first year, whatever, it doesn't really matter. So again, I'm not sure what goaltending, in what way goaltending is relevant to this graphic. So, it's not so much that they didn't win the game tonight, Andre, as it is the performance that they put forward. I think was the bigger issue to me. The fact that they just didn't show up, right? And I'm not gonna criticize anybody for not trying or not putting an effort in. I don't think that's right. Have a good one, Jordan. Oh, I kind of knew that was coming from you, Jordan, eventually. But anyways, it is what it is. You can keep the thumbs up. Keep the thumbs down, Jordan. Keep the thumbs down. Don't take it away. Put it back. Don't chicken out now. Don't puss out now, man. Anyways, let's move on, guys. That's pretty much it, guys. There's not a lot of comments going on here. And you're not doing me any favors, Jordan. You're not doing me any favors. You don't support if you don't enjoy the show. Don't come over here and do me any favors. Come to the show because you enjoy it. So, anyways, you do you, man. It is what it is. Monty is the best we have had. Monty is a good goalie, but a playoff goalie I don't. Well, we don't know. I mean, we won't know, Pete, whether he's a playoff goalie until he gets a chance to play in the playoffs. Is he a superstar? No. Is he a top 10 goalie in the NHL? No. But he's a sufficient goalie, and we've talked about it in the past, right? What you want from your goalie is a guy who gives you a chance to win every game. And frankly, Sam Montembeault gave the Canadiens a chance to win this game tonight. Right? I mean, he let in a few bad goals, but he saved 41 of 45. So, that is reflective of the entire team defense, not Sam Montembeault tonight. So, for me, I'm perfectly happy with Montembeault. I think Dobesh is a great option, and as he continues to play and to get better, I think he'll. There you go, bud. There you go, bud. I didn't call you a puss, Jordan, but you're kind of being one. But I said don't puss out. So it is what it is, man. If you're gonna continue to suck, just go do it somewhere else, pal. It's not. Sometimes the numbers don't look great. But if your goalie makes big saves at the right time and gives you chances to win, that's what you want from your goalie. And like I said, Dobesh, if he continues to play the way he has, like if Dobesh, what we're seeing from Dobesh right now is who Dobesh actually really is, then yeah, that's great. And he'll eventually start to get a greater share of the goaltending with Montreal. But I don't think we're going to see Sam Montembeault lose his starting job until Sam Montembeault loses his starting job. Right, they're not gonna give Dobesh the starting job because he's playing really good. They're gonna give Dobesh the starting job if if Montembeault falters. So it's just kind of the way it is, right? He did, Pete. He did make some good saves, especially at the end. Bye, Jordan. I appreciate that I'm salty tonight and that I'm getting pissed off tonight, probably more than I normally would because the game was frustrating and whatever, and it's partially me. But when somebody comes in and talks about they're going to push buttons and then they start pushing buttons, then I'm going to push the big button and you're going to be gone. So I'm not interested in having that kind of conversation here. I'm not interested in having you can have a different viewpoint than me. I have no issue with that. But when you're pushing buttons intentionally to try and stir things up, it's just not. It's not. This is meant to be a conversation for grown-ups. And if you want to act like a child, maybe somewhere else is better off for you. And I don't need. I mean, I'd love to have the viewers and I'd love to have the subscribers, but at the end of the day, I'll choose quality over quantity any day. So I'm not going to have It is what it is. So, anyways. Monty did make big saves. The entire team struggled defensively tonight. Andre, you're right. The defensive zone coverage was not great. They struggled in their own end. They struggled in the neutral zone. They didn't make it difficult at all for Detroit to get to the net, to get chances, to get shots, to get all that stuff. So, it is what it is. So, Monty had already faced 20 shot midway through the second period. Yeah. I mean, again, it's just that, they were getting chances and, we saw the expected goals tonight for Detroit were 4.6. So that tells us that Sam Montembeault was above expected tonight. He made zero point 0.6 above expected for the goals that he let in tonight. Like I've literally not I've done this is my 41st show of Habs After Dark, and I haven't banned one person yet. And so Jordan decided that he wanted to be the first. So my thought on Laine's game. Yeah, it's been inconsistent a little bit, Marc Antoine. But again, I think a lot of players who didn't look good tonight or last night. It's hard to look good when the rest of the team is not looking good. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a contagious thing. Like if you're not moving your feet and you're not hard on the puck and you're not making crisp, clean passes, then that's also going to affect the players around you because if you're not moving your feet, you're not going to have any room, and if you don't have any room, you're not going to be able to make plays. And so if one guy or a group of guys is not doing that, it's hard to shine when that's not going well. I think Laine is a little bit inconsistent right now. He has the unfortunate characteristic of not looking like he's working hard all the time. Like he's very, very smooth. Like he's got a long stride and whatever, but it makes him look slow a little bit. I mean, Slafkovsky kind of has that a little bit too, where they don't look like they're pumping their legs like. Really, like when Alex Newhook skates, you can tell he's skating because his legs are going 100 miles an hour. So again, I don't, it's a team game, right? And unless the people you're playing with are also firing on all cylinders, it's hard to look good. It's why that first line always looks quite good, is because this year for the most part, two of those guys have been playing really, really good hockey, and they look really, really good when Slafkovsky shows up as well. So, what was the quality shots faced tonight? There were, what was it say? What do we say? High danger shots tonight were 17, I think. High danger scoring chances, 17. Yeah, 17-7 high danger scoring chances tonight. 4.6 expected goals. Yeah, Suzuki struggled tonight, Pete. I agree with you. Good night, Frank. I won't be live this Saturday, going out of town for the weekend. Thumbs up, buddy. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to go live on Saturday night either. I might need a break for a night after this game and after this show. It might be time to take a little bit of a break. But yeah, I do appreciate it, Frank. I hope you have a good trip out of town, and we'll see you next time. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to be just about it. There's 13 people watching. We only have 13 thumbs up. We're not going to get there. I guess I don't have to do the shot of peanut butter whiskey tonight. But we're going to shorten the show, guys. We've only been live for about an hour here, but there's really not that much to talk about, and you guys don't seem that keen to be chatting tonight. We got 13 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down. Thank you very much for those, guys. I appreciate it. For the thumbs down as well, thank you very much. If you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button down below. Also hit the notification bell if you're watching live, if you're watching in a replay. We do appreciate your support. We are trying to grow our community here. We're trying to grow a community where we can have smart, civil conversations about our team and the game. And I think we're doing that. We're kind of around 280 subscribers now. I do appreciate that. That's great. We're trying to get to 500. That's our ultimate goal, is to get to 500. So if you do enjoy this content, if you enjoy conversations about the Canadiens, and you do want to have a place where you can come and have those conversations, then this is hopefully the place for you. And if you're interested in that, then please make sure that you hit that subscribe button just below the screen here. I'm old enough that people were saying the same about Pete Mahovlich, that it was, yeah, there's a lot of players that play that style. I think Moritz Seider deserve a knuckle sandwich. Yeah, there's a few guys on Detroit that deserve that, I think. I'd like to see Dylan Larkin. Again, I was kind of disappointed that they didn't stand up for themselves a little bit more tonight. It's okay, Andre. Again, it's going to be a short show. I mean, I can't, I'd love to just sit here and talk and talk off the cuff here tonight, and I do that sometimes, but without much participation from the comment section, it's kind of hard to keep her going here. So, oh, thank you, Pete. That's okay, man. I'm just it's just been a frustrating day between the game and the show and the Demidov, and it's just been a long day. It's a long day, and then you have somebody who comes into the live who, from the first time he stepped into the live, his intention was to try and push my buttons and get me riled up, and then he succeeded in getting me riled up, so I'm a little bit pissed off at myself for that as well. So he's not being an asshole, Andre. He's just, he's just being who he is. So I think that's going to be it, guys. I do appreciate everybody for coming. Pete, Andre, Frank, Marc-Antoine, merci beaucoup. Who else? Franco was in here earlier as well. Thank you, Franco. Run with Kings stopped by real quick. Asim, Entertap, of course. Billy D. Who else? Armando Collins, thank you. Billy D was here. Yes, Larry LaValle. Thank you very much. So thank you to everybody who came by. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for joining the show. Thank you for being part of the Recliner Sports family. Thank you for helping us grow this channel, growing the group, and we will see you all. We got one more comment here. I appreciate it. It's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good. I appreciate it though. What are my thoughts on the Team Canada roster? You're talking about the Four Nations Team Canada? It is what it is. I mean, anytime Canada makes a team like that, there's going to be guys that get left off, and there's guys who make it, and we'll see how they do when they go. I'm not a big fan of second guessing roster selection. There's a lot that goes into roster selection when you're dealing with a talent pool like Canada has. There's always going to be guys that don't make it, right? It's not like you're picking, it's not like, Finland really doesn't have a choice of who they're going to pick, right? Like, it's pretty obvious who their guys are. There's only so many guys who are at that level to play at that tournament. Whereas with Canada, you could probably make 2 or 3 teams that would all be, would be competitive. That's not to say they would all win, but they would all be competitive. So, maybe we can, go through the whole roster on another show sometime. But for now, I think that's it for tonight, guys. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, Franco. I appreciate it. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Pete. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
To Hoffman, Monahan parked in front. Docks to Caulfield, fires, scores!
You are about to enter Habs After Dark